In the summer of 2002, myself, Simon Judson, and my brother Patrick embarked on a trip into the Indonesian part of Borneo, otherwise known as Kalimantan. Our mission was to travel upriver from Pontianak on the west coast, up and over the Mullah mountain range by foot, and back down to Balikpapan on the east coast. A total distance as the crow flies of over 600 miles.
Kalimantan is made up of a huge network of rivers stretching high into the Mullah mountain range, deep into the interior of Borneo. These rivers and their infrastructure presented themselves as our primary mode of transport until such time that we were left with no choice but to continue on foot.
Our time spent in Pontianak was brief. Within a couple of hours we negotiated a price of $75 for our board and lodging on board a cargo boat, locally known as a bungu.
With limited or no public transport, not a bank in sight, no phones, limited medical supplies, and with a serious 8 to 10 day trek ahead of us, it was going to be an interesting month. Not to mention that I'd rarely left the UK.
The whole of the village children just came running up to us. That was really, look, still waving. Amazing, really, really happy to see. Okay, the situation is that we're helping crew move salt, massive 50 plate duties for all our crew helping us. Bloody hard work. We've done about 100, we've got 700 to go, and the rest are down there. And I'll tell you, not only does it pain your arms, but it gets the old sweat going. And 4 days of doing absolutely nothing, exactly what I've been looking for, a bit of British graft. So yeah. It was only 10 minutes ago I was tucked up in my bed. Now I'm on the roof in the rain, questioning my sanity again, and ready to jump off my cargo boat into the captive river. Yeah! Aqua bottled water, this is a serious luxury. So in the last 4 days I've been very tough because we ran out of water on about the 3rd. I'm afraid we had to use river water, which is alright. It kind of tastes a bit like tea after it's been boiled. Our local shower here looks excellent, better than ours. Serious upgrade.
Our 8-day trip on the Bungu ended when she grounded due to low water, 2 hours from Patisibao.
Patisibao! 8 days of travelling and I can see it, finally!
We got a lift with some locals on a smaller boat into town and set about our next goal. Finding someone prepared to take us 2 to 3 days upstream in a longboat to a village called Tanjung Lokan. Tanjung Lokan was as far as we could venture by river. From then on in, it was by foot, up and over the mountain range into East Kalimantan.
Need some water, mate.
Finally, after 2 days, we met Tujik, his wife and Aliman, who'd come down to Patisibao for fuel and other provisions, and we negotiated a deal where we'd gain free passage on their boat in return for us paying for their fuel.
Okay, well here we are in Patisibao. That is the Mullah range over there, in the distance. Quite a sight really, considering we have to climb over it. The plan of action is to stay here tonight, tomorrow morning, catch one of the local canoe kind of dang boats down there, travel 2 days and 1 night upriver as far as possible. So we're here to find the locals, do a bit of negotiating, a bit of wash, a bit of this, you know, what I'm best at, a bit of haggling, British style.
The fuel cost us at the end of the day around 600,000, which is about £40 at the end of the day. So expensive because it has to come all the way up from Pontiac. You know, not surprisingly, it's 8 days upriver, so it ends up costing quite a lot more than if we were to buy at Pontiac. We had a little bit of rain yesterday, so the river's probably going to be quite high, which is kind of good news. It means it might take less than 2 days. They say that the scenery from now on becomes particularly good, and the chance to see some real wildlife, because now we're in the real interior of Borneo. We're pretty remote as it is. I mean, we're kind of 10 days as good as upriver from Pontiac, then travel another 2 days up just to the foot of the Mula mountain range. It's quite something, I think, and should hold some serious adventures for us. Sections are so shallow that they actually have to take the engine out of the water, and then we push ourselves along with these sticks, these blood, you know, again.
Pretty hairy. Motoring upstream in this fashion continued all day. By later on that afternoon, we were already on our second drum of fuel.
Mate tried to absolutely floor it up there. We got stuck halfway up, totally nearly capsized, and he's going to go solo. And this Indonesian guy is an absolute psycho, and it doesn't surprise me if he's going to kill himself. He's nearly 60, look at his face.
Shelter that night was basic, but we were looked after well. Aliman caught a couple of fish, and together with some instant noodles, morale was high.
Okay, we've caught some fish, and they're cooking up. We'll go hunting for wobble. Boom.
Okay, it's approximately 6:15 in the morning. We're ready to cruise up on our second day towards Tanjung Lokam. We've the river's risen slightly overnight, which has meant that the boat can cruise over the top of the rapids a little bit easier. We've been told that the one we had difficulty getting up yesterday was actually a small one, and we've got another 6 larger ones to the front, higher up the river.
He's just basically trying to get up this rapid 40 horsepower. I don't think powerful enough to manoeuvre this massive wooden canoe up the thing. It's all go here in Indonesian Borneo. Let's see it. Round 1. River versus 40 horsepower longboat. Jesus, these people are absolutely psycho. Rapid 2 successfully completed. 4 to go.
The remaining 4 rapids all had their difficulties.
So I dragged the boat up over this little ridge.
Despite this, all was successfully negotiated by Tajik in a way that only 60 years of experience would have taught him.
Jadi, 6 pagi tadi. Ya.
one occasion we were forced to offload the spare fuel and pull the boat up and over the rapids.
Burning up river, battling the rapids. They're getting a little bit more intense now, so we have to unload the loads, drop us off onto shore, and Psycho and Psycho battle it alone. They're doing a good job. He knows how to drive. Go that way around. It's a 20-foot boat, pretty heavy, pretty long, and fairly hard to manoeuvre. He's doing it very well indeed, considering he's got, I would say, feet to play with between massive rocks and torrenting waterfalls. So he's doing pretty well, I have to say. These boys are just enjoying a bit of my throwing technique. Okay, well, we've finally arrived at Townsend Lock Hunt, and it's really pleasant and nice. Just enjoying some bird watching before we have to head off into the jungle in a couple of days' time. Just get a chance to relax and take it easy.
Townsend Lock proved to be a very friendly place, and we were welcomed by the villagers with open arms. We even had time to join the locals in a little fishing upstream.
When you ask a local Bornean to go fishing, you better expect some adventure. It's certainly not your average, let's just go out and have a little bit of fishing. It's let's battle rapids for 2 hours, nearly capsize and crash the boat 5 times, and then do a little bit of fishing. Mental.
This is our final night in Townsend Lock, as well as civilization. For the next 7 days we're going to be confronted by some serious badass jungle.
One of our guides, Moody, he's got no teeth and likes his red stuff. Our other guide is just packing up his bag.
Jalan ke Kaltim, Kalimantan Timur.
Okay, basically, guys out here don't have guns. We're going to be trying hunting with the old traditional method, which is one of these. Spit. I'm not running after no wild pigs, so I leave it to matey.
Selamat jalan.
Selamat jalan.
Selamat tinggal.
Selamat tinggal. Selamat jalan. Hati-hati ya. Bagus.
It didn't take us long to find Taha and Moody, who had volunteered to be our guides. The village chief had insisted on us taking two, as it was considered too dangerous for only one to return solo.
Okay, to be honest, I've missed this jungle. Delahan! The spate of this hill. We brought 8 kilos of rice for what we were told could be as long as a 10-day trip between villages and a total of over 150 kilometres on foot. This is a leech. And he's already pronged himself within me, sucking my blood. Bastard.
Now we've been following this river up for about 4 hours now. It's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. The plan is to follow it until it's basically nothing, and then head over the mountain. It's called Bukit Mula. It's around 2,415 meters high.
Okay, we've just arrived at base camp 1. Literally just arrived about 30 seconds ago. Back is absolutely killing. Legs just generally ache all over. We haven't stopped walking apart from an hour for lunch since 8 o'clock this morning, and it's now gone 4. Pretty intense walking. There is actually a trail, but it certainly has its moments where it's just non-existent and you have to kind of clamber over lots of obstacles. Lots of small rivers. So yeah, just pretty mundane trekking, but I think this is a small intro before we get to the real grueling stuff for the next kind of 4 days as we go over up onto the summit. I need to shower. There's a river there and I'm going in it.
Apa kamu buat? For makan? Untuk makan?
Untuk cari ikan.
The last 2 hours have been monumentally intense. Like, no joking, honestly. Seriously tough. I mean, I'm talking about the last 2.5 kilometres been on a riverbank, 20 foot up from the river, on a slope like that, with leaves, rotting vegetation, rocks, cracks, crevices, you name it, every obstacle to fall at you. Not to mention the leeches, which have been absolutely intense. My feet are rotting. I mean, absolutely covered in leech bites. What do you call a leech? This is where they're sleeping. Relatively basic, but I'm afraid there's no Hiltons here. We're at least 40k up the 40. I reckon we must be 40k into the interior now. We're literally in the heart of Borneo. You cannot go much further. We're at the foot of the Mela Range. Tomorrow it's going to be seriously tough.
Yeah? Huh?
Ketenda, you.
Hammock.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last, I mean, tomorrow I reckon is going to be a killer, because we're following this river all the way up. It's going to be rock hopping, bank climbing, you name it. I reckon it's going to be a bitch, excuse my French, tomorrow. I'm not looking forward to it.
We had some serious rain last night, and stupidly we left our trekking shoes on the foots of the sandbanks by the river, and of course, being stupid that we are, the river's risen about a metre and our shoes have been taken tens of kilometres downstream probably by now.
Okay, I guess one good thing is we've caught a couple of fish, which is nice, so a bit of protein, what I think we need.
Moody's ability to catch fish was a definite lifesaver. The protein it gave us was of paramount importance for our overall strength. However, losing our footwear was a major blow. It made our feet far more vulnerable to injury and leeches, and with cheap flip-flops as replacement footwear, it was fair to say that the next 2 days were quite arduous.
Okay, well it's day 5. 2 days of trekking gone. We've had problems with the camera again. Pretty lucky again to be seeing this footage. Situation is this: the trekking is seriously tough. We're doing 7 hours a day, mainly eating rice and fish. If we can catch fish, that is. And it's just an emotional battle beyond belief. I'm just mentally, physically, emotionally exhausted. And I think if you don't latch on to serious aspects of kind of motivating things like your family or your friends, you just wouldn't get through this. I mean, I've been concentrating on my friends and my family, you know, for the last 2 days to try and get me through this. It's just painful. 20k on your back. And the obstacles you have to overcome are just so draining. It's unbelievable. The rivers pulling you over, the roots, the mud, the slippery rocks. Not to mention that we've lost our shoes. Been wearing flip-flops for the last 2 days. It's been a joke. It's one extreme to the other. Flip-flops are designed for beach, not for one of the harshest environments in the world, in my view. You know, you've got to be prepared. You're either a guide like they are, and they've been doing it for 30 years and can wear bare feet, or you get seriously mashed feet. Obviously, wearing flip-flops, you're totally exposed to leeches, and you get massive blisters. So every step's painful. I've been that close to tears. It's just horrible, man. The sooner we get out of this place, the better. But you know what I'm hoping to do is to try and, you know, motivate myself and capture the things which are important. Obviously, you know, I'm going to use this experience to make me a better person, to make me less selfish, you know, and I'm hoping, you know, I know it sounds really corny, but it's going to change me a bit, and I think it will, because it's only until you get into an environment like this and you have to depend on other people, and, you know, such as your guides and you know, your kind of teammates and partners, that you realise, you know, that's the way forward. Energy. We're splashing out tonight. There's no fish up here because the river's too small. It's so nice to eat noodles, it's unbelievable.
Kami naik Gunung Penseler untuk Kalimantan Barat ke Kalimantan Timur.
The trip to the summit was a welcome break from trekking along or through the river, but it was certainly our hardest day in the jungle. The ground was slippery and hard going in our beach footwear, and away from the river, the leeches were out in force.
Nyaman? Ada yang nyaman?
Good. Berdiri.
Oh. Yeah.
This is like leech madness. I mean, look at this. That's like a leech nest. Just in a bit of my foot there. See ya.
Given the lack of wildlife visible in the jungle, I was always amazed by the quantity of leeches present, given that there seemed to be nothing for them to survive on. At times it seemed like the floor was alive, and if you stopped to pick one off, you would end up with another 3 dropping on you from the trees. I think it was fair to say that on average, throughout the course of a day's trekking, we would pull off up to 100 leeches. They got everywhere, literally.
Okay, well we're finally made the top of Mount Muller after nearly 2 weeks boating, trekking. We finally made it to the top. And what we have to do now is offer the spirits our t-shirt. This is where all these t-shirts are here.
Yeah.
Never again. You know, they which will not give up. They which will not leave you alone. The only way is to mash them up. And then they'll learn. After 10 hours of trekking, I don't want to be screwed about with. I'm going to be sick. These are just full of blood. And it's not nice, yeah, it really isn't. But you've got to understand what we're going through. This is the kind of mental torture we have to put up with. I mean, look at this. Look at his feet.
Okay, 7th and final full day in the jungle. We still have about a 3-hour trek to the headwaters of the Mahakam tomorrow before we take our small and swift longboat ride downstream to a small settlement called Tiong Ohan.
Earlier in the day we'd met our first people in 7 days. They were gold miners panning the river, and while Patrick welcomed some sugary coffee, I got stuck into a few Indonesian painkillers.
Ini terlalu berat.
River crossings were interesting. Given that our clothes were soaked anyway, we kept ours on, while Taha and Moody bared all for the sake of keeping what little they had on dry. Being not able to see the riverbed made crossing quite difficult in places, and having a trusty walking stick certainly helped. But I fell over a couple of times, giving myself a wet rucksack as well. This was certainly the lowest point for me. I think I can physically go on anymore. Just so draining. Unbelievable. You know?
Okay, kumukunykan nyalu je pu mama anu. Ya, ini orang sebelum nyalu ni. Nomu.
This is so hard, man. You've got no idea just how tough this is. I underestimated it. Everyone's underestimated it. It's 8 days of intense hell. This jungle is relentless in every way. Foxy leech.
Apa di sana?
Kaltim,
Mahakam.
Mahakam, Pantai Mahakam.
Okay, finally ended the trek. Come out of the jungle to the most magnificent view. One couldn't wish for much more. The sun is shining, we've got grass, and we're out of the mud. We're at the headwaters of the Mahakam, passport to freedom. Getting in a boat right now to go downstream. Woohoo!
more than good to be out that jungle, man. I mean, really good to be out that jungle. Guys, less than 12 hours after we arrived here in this small longhouse settlement of Long Bagung, and we've already been whisked onto some ship heading for Samarinda, which is the last port of call on our journey across Borneo. It's due to take 2 days and 1 night, and we've got quite a few other people travelling with us, approximately 40 people I'd say, plus a whole lot of cargo again, sugar, salt, rice, oil, 1 or 2 other things.
Good. There we are. Good. We made it. Across the whole of Borneo, that means a river. I'll tell you. 24 days of absolute hell and we finally made it. Including our epic trip across Borneo, the 3rd largest island in the world, east to west coast.
It's not an easy thing to do, especially in a country like this. We haven't even seen another white person in 24 days.
It's just been amazing. The roller coaster of emotions has been second to none. You know, the happiness, the depression, the tears, the laughter. You know, it's all come together to complete a package which I'm never going to forget for the rest of my life.
Maybe that gives you some indication of just how remote this area is and how few people actually come to this part of the world.
Indonesia is a wonderful country, and you know, it's a shame that people don't know about it as much as they ought to in England, you know, because it's just a fantastic place, and I would recommend anyone, absolutely anyone, to come and visit it.
I think Patrick's handled the last 3 weeks pretty well.
People, the race, everyone, so friendly, go out their way to help you.
He's definitely a more organised person, which you're going to have to be in these circumstances.
You know, we wouldn't have done it. We would not have done what we've done without the help of the locals, without, you know, the cooperation of our boat driver, without our guides.
I think he's more giving. I think the jungle trek really proved that teamwork was a very important part of getting through that week in the jungle.
It's been quite something, and it's made me proud, you know. I'm really proud that I'm here and I've done it. And that's it.
It's been good for the both of us. It's been tough, but it's been a real adventure. And on to the next part of our trip.
Samarinda,